Great, so welcome back to Grade 7 Math. We are now looking at Chapter 7.3, which is on reflections. And so we're going to be looking at our sheet that we have here. So we're just going to review a couple of things about reflections with geometry. Number one, the first thing about reflections that we have to realize that the distance from the object to the mirror is the same thing as the distance from the image to the mirror. So which means if my object is 3 blocks from the mirror, that means my image will also be 3 blocks on the other side of this mirror. A couple of things as well, that the angle that is created between the distance from the object to the mirror is at 90 degrees. So the distance from the object to the image, or the line that's created between the two, is a 90-degree angle. So the line that connects DO and DI is 90 degrees to the mirror. So that if we connect the distance of the object, or if you connect the object point with the image point, that will be 90 degrees, or create a 90 degrees to the mirror. So those are the couple of things that we have to know. So if we plot these 2 points, A is at -2, 3, and B is at -4, -1. So -2, 3, we put it on a graph, is up here, and we'll label this A. And -4, -1 is over here. We'll label this B. So we'll label that on the graph. Now, question A is reflect points A and B in the x-axis and find the coordinates of A prime and B prime. So let's just label our axes here. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. We remember those because x comes first and it's horizontal. It comes first in the alphabet, and y comes second, and that's the horizontal, the vertical one. And we can remember y is because we kind of draw a little arrow with the tail of the y, even though it's not staying on my whiteboard there. Great. So a reflection across the x-axis means that this line here, which I'll now highlight, let's just highlight with yellow. So this line right here is our mirror. And that means our reflections are a two-sided reflection, so sometimes it'll be on the top or the bottom. So A, as we can see, we make a 90-degree angle, so I'll make my dots here that go down to this mirror. Makes a 90-degree angle. That means my A prime will be the same distance on the other side, still creating a 90-degree angle. So 1, 2, 3, and my point A prime will be on the other side of this reflection line, or the mirror. This mirror is actually called the axis of reflection. It's got a cool name for it. And if we look at B as well, so we see how many blocks is that from the mirror. So we kind of draw this imaginary line, and it's 1 block from the mirror. So then if I continue on, 1 block from the mirror, that'll be here, or the axis of reflection, this is B prime. So now if I find the coordinates of A prime and B prime, A prime is found at -2, -3. And B prime is found at -4, 1. So let's do this example, which is the next example, but all it is reflecting points A and B in the y-axis. So let's put A and B in the same place again. So A was at -2, 3. So this is A. B was at -4, -1. And now it's asking to reflect these points in the y-axis. So now if I change my colors, now my axis of reflection, my mirror, is now along the y-axis. So which means all points will be reflected across this line instead. So we had identical object points, but now our image points will be on the other side. Oh, my mirror went away. So my mirror is here along the y-axis. So reflecting across the y-axis means that now my A, if I draw my invisible or my kind of guidelines, is now 2 blocks away from this mirror. So that means my image will be 2 blocks on the other side. And B as well is 4 blocks from the mirror. So it will continue 4 blocks on the other side, and I label that one B prime. So if I find the coordinates now of A prime and B prime, A prime is found at 2, 3, and B prime is found to be at 4, -1. Great. If we continue on now, the next sheet, now has slightly more difficult shapes. So we'll do this one in class. We'll go over these couple of problems in class. These shapes, right now I have 3 points that create a shape, and really the only shape that you can make with 3 points is a triangle. So we have these 2 triangles that we're going to draw on both of these grids, but one you will reflect across the x-axis and one you will reflect across the y-axis. So try this for homework. Pause the video now. See if you can plot K, L, and M on the graph, then try reflecting it across the x-axis, so across the x kind of axis of reflection. So that's this line here. And then the second one is along the y-axis, I'll flip those points as well. It's slightly different from a regular mirror because this is almost like a two-way mirror where one side will always go to the other side and that side will always flip back to that first side. And then find the images, find the coordinates of all those image points, K prime, L prime, M prime, for both a reflection on the x-axis and then starting again and reflecting across the y-axis. So I'll pause the video now and I'll give you the answer, and then we'll be able to check your work and then show that to me tomorrow. Great. Hopefully you understood this lesson. Okay, so now I'll give you the answers to these problems. So I just fit everything in here. So K we'll put at -3, -1. So this is point K. L is at 0, 4. So let's put that in the right place. And 5, 2 is over here. And that's M. And so I can just join those points together, and that makes a triangle. I'll put the same points in here just so that we can have the same point. 0, 4, -3, -1, and 5, 2. I'm going to label those K, L, and M. And now what we'll do is we'll just draw the axes here. So I'll put in the x-axis mirror, and I'm going to reflect this one across the x-axis. K is 1 block away, so K prime will be 1 block away. L is 4 blocks away, so that's also 4 blocks away on the other side. And M is 2 blocks away, so it'll be M prime will be 2 blocks away. So now if I now connect these, if I connect these dots together, so I'll just put in the, whoops. If I now put in these points, so let's insert another line again. I made a mistake because this is K primed. Move that one down to K. Great. And then the last one, that's K to M. So now if I have these shapes, and I'm going to just copy them, whoops. And now if I just connect these dots again, so I add some more lines in here to connect K and L, insert another line, K prime to M prime, and one more. So notice a little design that we have here. Make sure that you connect the primes together and then your non-primed or your original object points together, just so that at least it looks correct, because you don't want to you don't want to do what I did and connect a prime to one of the original object ones. Now reflecting across the y-axis is slightly different, but it's the same process. Now I have the axis of reflection right here, a little bumpy mirror. Then I'll plot my points. Well, L was at 0, 4, which is right on the mirror, so which means I don't have to move anywhere, and L prime will also be at the mirror. M is 5 away from this, so the M prime will be 5 away on the other side. K is 3 away from this mirror, and it'll be 3 away on the other side. I'll just do a quick sketch of just drawing it freehand here. And so I connect my, whoops, M is over here. Kind of works. Great. So now I have my object and my image shapes, and my original object was this one. Just color this one in red. And my image one, I'll just color in green. And you can see part of it overlaps in the middle. So that's my image. And then what we could do is we can find all the image points for all of them. So k prime for this one is -3, 1. L prime is 0, -4. And M prime is 5, -2. For as the x-axis one, K prime is 3, -1. L prime is still at 0, 4. And M prime becomes -5, 2. So notice how reflecting in the x-axis or reflecting in the y-axis gives different coordinate points. However, the process is still the same. You count the number of blocks at a 90-degree angle, and you find its image on the other side of this mirror. And then we'll be doing a couple more examples in class without the grid, and then we'll be able to do some of the problems in the textbook. Great, so hopefully you understand this part.